Have you ever seen the movie Elf? I'm sure you have. Elf is one of my favorite Christmas movies to watch, and I just watched it the other day. And ever since I was a little kid watching that movie, I always wondered what that spaghetti that he made tasted like. And then I realized that would be the perfect DIY for my 12 days of DIY crafts for Christmas. So I'm gonna show you how to make Buddy the Elf's spaghetti. But also really the main project is I'm gonna show you how to engrave on a glass plate. I'm Ashley and this is Chip Builds, and let's jump into it. So I made this design in Adobe Illustrator, and all it is just the recipe for Buddy the Elf spaghetti from the movie Elf. And so it says, you know, 1 serving of spaghetti, red and green M&Ms, mini marshmallows, and so on and so on. And then I decided to put a silhouette of the hat that he wears right in the center. That's definitely optional. You don't have to do it this way. You can really do it whatever way you want. This is just what I decided. So it is all the same color because I want it to engrave in the glowforge. And so what I'm going to do is select it all and just hit Command G and group it all. And then what I'm going to do is right click and go down to transform, click reflect and reflect it vertically, and then click OK. We're inverting it in Adobe Illustrator because I don't actually have the premium subscription in Glowforge's software itself. So I do it beforehand and then save it and import it into the Glowforge app. So I'm just going to save a copy of this and put Elf, save it as an SVG. And then we can hop into Glowforge's app, and I'm going to click create new design, and I'm going to click upload a file, and then it's just going to take a second to import it. So because our glass plate is bigger than ½ an inch, we had to take the crumb tray out, but I have put in my riser blocks that I sell. Now these blocks just help elevate thicker items to the proper height to engrave onto. So since our plate is clear, the Glowforge is going to have an issue focusing on this. So what I'm going to do is, since we're going to engrave the backside of the plate, I'm going to put some blue tape right in the center of this clear plate. And this is going to just help it focus, and that way we have the right depth to engrave. And then so now this is ready to go into the laser. Okay, so since we had to remove the tray, I am going to use these blocks that I sell. This is the reject one, obviously, since the print did fail by 3D print these. You can get them in my Etsy shop. So just trying to make sure that this is like centered under the camera. Alright, so that looks good to me. As you can see, since we've added the blue tape, the plate shows up really well on the Glowforge camera. So we're going to set focus, and we're going to hit the top 3 dots on the right hand side and click right in the middle of that blue tape, and then it's going to focus really well. So now you can see our screen has changed a little bit. That means the laser is done focusing. So when you are going to engrave an object, you want to try to get it as directly under the camera as possible, because the Glowforge does use a fisheye lens, and so we want to minimize the warping so that we can line everything up evenly. So we're just going to adjust our artwork here and get it all centered and to the correct size that we want. And the settings I'm using is speed 850, power 100, lines per inch 450 with 1 pass. So now that everything is good to go, we can come up to the top right hand side and click ready. And then the Glowforge is going to process the different toolpaths and everything and tell us how long the design is going to take to engrave. So this design is going to take about 47 minutes. And now that we're ready to go, we can hit the glowing button on the Glowforge. It looks pretty good there. So the moment of truth, how does it look on the other side? That looks really good. I like how it looks, but I do want to be able to see it a little bit more. So we're going to add some paint to this. So now that our plate is done engraving, it looks really good, but I do want the engraving to show up a little bit more prominently. So I'm going to use my favorite paint to do this, and I'm going to use One Shot enamel paint. Now this comes in a bunch of different colors. I chose white because that's what I use the most. But this stuff is really amazing, and I love using this over any kind of acrylic paint, paint pens, or any other enamel paint that's out there. This is my favorite one, and it lasts a long time after a bunch of hand washes. Unfortunately, I don't have a dishwasher, so I can't do a test if it is dishwasher safe or not, but it's held up pretty good with hand washing. So I'm just going to take a cheap paintbrush to use with this project just because I don't want to ruin any of my nicer ones. But with this paint too, a little goes a long way, so I'm just going to kind of goop it onto the paintbrush and start rubbing it in and flooding into the engraved glass. So this, I'm not being too careful here because the paint is only going to want to stay in the engraved areas. It's not going to want to stay on the glass. So I'm just really making sure that I'm flooding the area with this paint and getting all of the different engraved parts. So now that we're done painting, we're just going to take a lint-free dry cloth and just start buffing away the paint. And so you don't have to do a lot of pressure, just a little bit of like elbow grease should get the job done. And as you can see, the paint is coming off of the glass and just staying in that engraved area. So just continue to keep finding a clean patch of your lint-free cloth, and then it won't take too long to remove the excess paint. So I really love how this paint really makes the engraving pop. Alright, so we have our plates ready to go. And the first thing we have to add is our spaghetti. So next we're going to add the red and green M&Ms. Next we'll add some mini marshmallows. Next we're going to add our maple syrup. Next we'll add our chocolate syrup. Then we can top it off with some sprinkles or a little garnish. And then Buddy the Elf likes to use Pop-Tarts as his toast. And so we can just stick this in the back here. And then now we have Buddy the Elf pasta. All right, let's try this. I'm a little nervous about it. I cannot imagine this tastes good. Oh. So I'm part Italian and I love spaghetti. Like I could eat it all the time. So this hurts my heart a little bit to have had to made it this way. I'm just mixing it all together. All the dye from the M&Ms is coming off onto the noodle. So I just gotta do it. Just gotta go for it. Here we go. All right. That actually is not that bad. It actually tastes pretty good. I don't think dessert pasta is a thing, but if there was, that's honestly not a bad option. So if you have a chance, I highly recommend you make this for your kids because they'll think it's a lot of fun. It is very sweet. So if you like sweet things, you'll definitely like this. So overall, it's not that bad. Maybe Buddy the Elf actually knew what he was talking about. Well guys, thank you so much for watching this video. This was a lot of fun to do. I really just love doing the kind of sillier projects where it's not so serious. So thank you for coming along with me on this journey. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below and I'll do my best to get back to you. So thanks so much for watching guys. See ya!